Kemi Lawyer, Dr. Kemi. Good morning. It's Friday, the 26th of September, 2025. Let's talk about autism. We're discussing autism on my Facebook page, the Kemi Talks page, and I didn't complete everything because I've been very busy. President Trump did make the announcement that Tylenol, acetaminophen, was supposed to be used very cautionary in pregnant women because it does increase high risk of autism. When the announcement finally came down from the president himself, a lot of mothers and fathers of autistic children spoke. A lot of medical professionals spoke. Now, don't forget, some of the medical professionals that spoke at the White House that day are actually real doctors as well. And some of the whole, research they found to come up with those findings were real. But however, the drug company who patented the drug, acetaminophen, Tylenol, Johnson & Johnson, McNeil, had something else to say. Oh, our drug has been safe, our drug has been this. And a lot of people were supporting them, as in pediatricians. They brought pregnant pediatricians that had children. Everybody was doing their own PR. But there's something in what President Trump said that nobody's really looking at. President Trump is not the doctor. Okay, he's just a messenger, the US president. Now, let me tell you exactly my own experience raising a 38-year-old autistic man. What I went through, I wish my son was not autistic. My whole life turned upside down and I lost my livelihood and so much more. It's not something you say in one day. My son was very violent and he was on that end of the spectrum. He didn't talk till he was 14. He spoke at 2 years old and stopped talking till 14. Some people still don't talk. We spoke about public figures who had autistic children because some people are not proud of it. One of Davido's twins is autistic. Okay, Otedola's only son is autistic, Fewa. Tony Braxton's son, the singer, her son is autistic. Holly Robinson Pete, they have one autistic son there. I've grown up learning about more and more about these people, okay? And the founder of Punch newspapers, okay, one of his daughters has an autistic child. And I remember when the Punch did the whole, World Autism Day thing. I think that was 2015. I was featured in that piece. Punch interviewed me. There's been a lot of public figures, and we got to the point in my Facebook page where people think, how come it's always the rich people that have autism and all? It's not. We just use them as examples so that you can better understand. It's happening to millions of ordinary citizens around the world. But because celebrities' experiences and rich people and congressmen and people in the US government, we have to put more attention to autism. I'm just giving you a few people that are notable that have autistic children. Sylvester Stallone, Doug Flutie, name it. Just Google celebrities with autistic children. Now, at the end of the day, my own story, I'm not going to tell you about how I raised my son. It's just too long. It was traumatic to me. And my whole life was trauma anyway. My son is now 38. He'll be 39 in February. Okay, his name is Eniton Ogunade. He calls himself Eniton Olunloyo Ogunade. Okay, his father is Babs Ogunade, the vice president of the NBFF. You all know Babs Ogunade, the basketball, executive. Babs abandoned me when I was 22, when I was pregnant. He didn't want me to have a baby. He locked the door, everything. I left. 1986. I raised that child. I went through my pregnancy and raised that child alone. He has never paid me a single penny in child support. Now, some of you heard about Bab's name during Father's Day of 2021 when I called him out on social media. Okay, I decided that Father's Day I was going to call him out. But before Father's Day, I told you guys that I want to do the Nengi challenge. At 23, what did you do? And I said at 23, I was pregnant. I had a baby. He was autistic. I raised him alone. My son's diagnosis came at 2 years old. I said, the father's name is Tunde. He has not paid me child support, abandoned me. At the end of the day, I moved on with my life. So that's when Nigerians started guessing every single Tunde in the book, because I said he's a public figure. Tunde Badamosi's name came up, Tunde Fashola's name came up, every single Tunde, but at the end of the day, I said it's not him. I'll announce on Father's Day. So when I announced Bab's own, okay, It was a disgrace. The whole family reached out to me. Some of the family that should be reaching out to me already denied my baby and they're dead now. His mother, his father, all these different people. But at the end of the day, I have moved on, like I said, but I have to tell these stories, okay? So, Jeremy Ogunsoya, okay, listen very carefully. The chairman of Multi Choice, he is very good friends with Babs. I hear. I heard Dewumi Ogunsoya actually paid for him to go to America and get to do a DNA test with that boy. So what he did was, at that time, I think the Tigers, or I don't know, the girl one is the Tigers and the the basketball team of Nigeria shot. They were going to play some kind of exhibition game in the US and then they were on their way to the Olympics in 2020. Okay, that one trip, they only paid and they said he told them to go do a DNA test. For some reason, my son who's autistic does not understand the relationship factor. Basically, somebody came to your DM and said they were your father and you believe them. They said you should meet them at a train station in New Jersey. My son left Philadelphia and went to and that's one thing is good about, autistic people are good about one thing. He knows all the subway system. Took a train to New Jersey, met this man, and this man looked exactly like him. He took pictures. Well, this is what they did. They went to a DNA center. A woman in the car drove them and they did a swab. And Babs took my child back to the station. No money, no pocket money, no nothing, no, let's go to lunch, let's discuss. He just wanted the DNA test and dumped my child back at the station. And my child went, home in Philly. Philly's near New Jersey. And then he posted pictures. I saw the picture, I posted it. And then Isabel took it from my page. And then the whole thing it blew up. And I heard that Babs was embarrassed. It was a disgrace, everything. Then he went back to shout at my son, saying that, why did he post that picture? He doesn't like social media. Well, your life came out, Babs. Okay, I'm now 61, all right? And you are 8 years older than me. People tell me you're going to be 70, 69 or something. But at the end of the day, you didn't do well, Babs. If you're watching this video, if you know Babs, send this video to him, okay? Because this happened when I was 22 and you were 30. At the end of the day, what did your mother say on that day? She said, my son is 30, he's old enough to have a child, marry, all that stuff, but not old enough to think on his brain that he impregnated somebody. All right, so to the point of the autism part. So at the end of the day, I just wanted to let you guys know the story I did on Facebook about DNA tests. Wumi doesn't want to do a DNA test for Liam. Okay, Kubana Chief Priest doesn't want to do a DNA test for Helen. Okay, Davido doesn't want to do a DNA test for Ayo and Anu. At the end of the day, some want to do, some don't want to do. Babs Ogunwade did a DNA test with my son in August of 2021. Until today, 4 years later, he has not released the results to us. However, Babs, you were talking to one of your friends who is a top police officer, and somebody was on that three-way call listening to you, and they recorded it and they sent that audio to me. I have an audio of Babs actually saying, oh my God, the child is mine, blah, blah, blah. He's so handsome like me, blah, blah, blah. Why don't you tell me that? Why don't you pay me my 18 years of child support? What did I do? What exactly did I do? But my son has refused to, talk to him or have anything to do with it. And the whole thing just broke up. All his family in my DM, I spoke to them. They acknowledge, your family can be acknowledging my son. Okay, you should be. And I heard my son is royalty in that Ijebu Ode line. So at the end of the day, they don't have a king over there. Who knows? My son might be in line to the kingdom. But as of now, I just want to tell you the Trump effect. Okay, I have 1 minute to tell you this. When I was 7 months pregnant, I had a big fall in the winter. And that fall was so bad. My son was born in February. That fall was so bad in my school. I fell on a step because of the snow. It was slippery. During that fall, the pain I went through, I had to start taking pain reliever at the end of my pregnancy. I couldn't take ibuprofen for any of the non-steroidals. So I was only stuck with Tylenol, acetaminophen. I took lots and lots of it. Every time I was in pain, it was Tylenol. Do you know what it is to be pregnant and have an accident and you can't use the anti-inflammatory drugs? It's crazy. So for all the big pharma that have been getting away with all this stuff, President Trump has exposed you now. I'm a mother that used tons of Tylenol and my son ended up autistic. Maybe that's the high risk that President Trump is talking about. Let everybody listen and take it with caution. Ask your doctor or pharmacist.